Welcome back to another video, everyone. I'm going to be talking about the 4 critical elements that are going to make you faster for longer. Whether you're training for a marathon, whether you're training for a half marathon, these same principles apply. Today's workout is a 1-mile warm-up followed by 16 intervals of half a mile at 6 minute to 7 minute per mile pace, followed by 1 minute of rest, so 16 times, and then a 1-mile cool down. Total volume today is going to be 10 miles. We're 23 days out from the Dallas BMW Marathon. Let's get into this first 1-mile warm-up. Just finished the 1-mile warm-up and the first interval. About to go for our second interval out of 16. 3, 2, 1, go. The third interval out of 16 is done. This is gonna be a long workout, so we're getting after it today. This is what it's about. Putting in that hard work, putting the hay in the barn. Just finished interval number 5. So the first key thing that you can do to run faster and run longer is increase weekly mileage or training volume. Now, I'm getting upwards 50 miles per week. It'll be a little bit higher next week. The key thing though is you can't just decide to jump in and start running 50 miles this week if you are not acclimated to that. So what you need to do, and what is recommended, is to not increase your weekly mileage more than 10%. So start out with however much you are running right now, total that mileage up. Next week, increase it by 10% or less. So for me, I hit a little bit over 40 miles last week. So the most I should hit this week is 44, 45 miles. So that's what we're gonna do. That's the first critical thing. Once we hit the next intervals, I'll tell you about the other 3 things that are super important. Just finished the 8th interval, meaning I'm halfway. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take one of these spring energy gels. I really like them. They're expensive. I typically use BPN and these spring energy gels. Just to have variety, I'll use both, but I'm out of my BPM ones right now. So BPN, if you're watching, you know, I could use some more. Halfway, it's a pretty long, high intensity workout right here. But our goal is for this to benefit us the most next week on our 22-mile run. So we'll be used to going way faster. We can chill at that 8 minute or less pace. Okay, let's get into the last 8 intervals, 1-mile cool down. So the second crucial part of running faster for longer is going to be the types of runs that you do. So there are only 3 types of runs that are essential for you to run faster for longer, and I believe for all types of running training, no matter what you're doing. The first one, majority, is going to be your easy or below max aerobic heart rate runs. So take 180, subtract your age, that's your max aerobic heart rate. MAF 180 formula. The second type of run that you need is speed runs like this. Interval runs, high intensity, getting your heart rate up, getting you uncomfortable. The last run that you need is long runs. So going further than you've ever gone before, 20 miles, 22 miles, next week I have a 22 mile, stuff like that. You have to put some type of stimulus for your body to adapt, for you to be able to go further distances. So I have 4 intervals left. I've done 12 intervals so far. Now the third crucial thing, if these last 2 things are not dialed in, the first 2 things matter not at all. So the third thing is your nutrition. Your pre-run fuel, your during run fuel, like I did spring energy gel, and your post-run fuel. Now your diet in general is going to affect your running in your performance. But those key areas, if you're not fueling properly before, your body's not gonna have the glycogen, the energy that it needs to complete the task. Nutrition, post-run, you need to be fueling properly. In run, okay? You're burning a lot of carbohydrates, losing a lot of your electrolyte. Think of it this way, your body is a race car. The fuel that you put in is what's going to affect the performance of the machine. Your body is a machine. If you put bad fuel in it, it's gonna run bad. You're probably gonna have to take it to the shop, to the clinic, to the doctor. That's what it's like. If you're not fueling properly, it's higher chances of you getting sick, especially when you're doing high intensity endurance training, running this many miles, trying to run a high volume. Immediately after these workouts, you're susceptible for getting sick a lot easier than somebody else, just because of how it affects the immune system. Now, over time, your immune system will adapt more, but in general, it's going to decrease immediately after. The fourth aspect of your training that is imperative, I say this one for last because it is the most important. So if you stayed watching the video till now, I really appreciate it. And it's sleep. Recommended at least 8 hours. You can get more, that's amazing. I can run off of 7 hours pretty well, but you cannot lack on sleep. Sleep is the most important out of all these aspects. If you do not have proper sleep, your training is not gonna go the way you want. You're probably gonna end up getting injured or getting sick a lot easier, and it's gonna put you out of your training entirely. Just finished the last interval, so now we're into our 1 mile cool down at letting our heart rate come back down to an aerobic zone or lower. So this is nice, easy pace. 1 mile cool down is complete. That wraps up the 10 mile speed run that we had today. That was a lot of volume and intensity there. It was a good solid workout. It pushed me. It was something that I needed to go into peak week next week and then be ready to go for the taper and for the marathon in 23 days. To review, wow, even with the rest periods, my average pace was a 7:59. So that's good. That right there, 10.65 miles, we're hitting good marks. But to review, I mean, if you want to run faster for longer, it's very simple. These four essential things, and people mess them up. They're so simple, but people mess them up so much because our lives get busy. We have stuff going on. Like, I'll just slip up one time, I'll stop this time just because I'm running short on time. I'll get back on the thing tomorrow. That's okay, but if you keep on doing that over and over again and it's a habit that you start falling into a trap, you're gonna have negative performance. You're not gonna be running the way that you want to run. Weekly mileage, increase it. It's going to take a very long time. Like I said, you can't increase it more than 10% or you're going to have a risk of injury, of overtraining, because you're trying to do too much too soon. So weekly mileage, total volume. Over time, you will become a more efficient, better runner. You just got to stick with the process. Number 2, your runs. You only need 3 types of runs. The easy runs, those long runs, and your speed runs like we did today is going to increase your speed. It's going to allow you to run faster. All the other runs are going to allow you to run for longer. So those two go together. But the last 2 things that I touched on are the most important, because if you do not have good nutrition, if you do not have good sleep habits, the other 2 things do not matter at all. Training for performance, if you're training for an event, you have to stay on top of your nutrition and you have to stay on top of your recovery and sleep. Those are the 2 pillars of recovery right there. Sleep is on the bottom, nutrition's on top, and then all your other things that go into it. Cold plunges, massage therapy, stuff like that. So sleep and nutrition, you stay on top of. This wraps up the video, everyone. I hope this helps you in your training. Leave me a comment down below. Tell me something you want to see. Tell me something that you want me to go over. If you enjoy these types of videos, solid 10 mile, 23 days out. Thank you. God bless. I hope God blesses you in your training, in your life. I just hope all the best for every single one of you. Thank you. Get after it.